some fitness. Great to see you back on top where you belong.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about your story and just what an amazing night it's been for you, and also what the kind of physical rehabilitation you'll have had to have gone through, getting back in the ring.
Yeah.
Just give us a flavour of how you feel.
Yeah, I'm not just going to say it just because he's sitting right beside me, but you have no idea how much he's helped me in my comeback and just believing in me and being like, listen, we're going to go look at your neck and we're going to see it, and if it's 100%, then I'm backing you 100%, you know, and it was just wonderful. And, you know, he didn't give me this straight away, you know, and I'm thankful for that because we got to tell stories and have fun and do outcasts, and it's the most fun I've ever had. Like, me, Tony, and Ruby together, we have a great time and we're enjoying it every single week, and we love everything that he's been doing for us, and it's just absolutely incredible. And I'm appreciative, you know, that I got this moment here in the UK, and it's awesome having my whole family here. Like, you know, got Queen and everything. I was like, bloody hell. But yeah, it was just really, really cool. And just the process of it, I never thought I was ever going to wrestle again. That was it. They said, you will never wrestle again. WWE cut ties with any kind of doctors and was like, we're not going to check you anymore. So I was kind of in limbo for 5 years. And I never kind of hit rock bottom with it, with no pun intended for the wrestling fans in here, but I never like hit rock bottom with it. I kept in a very positive mindset. And so, you know, when I got the call from Tony, he was just like, let's fucking go. Let's try this. Let's go do it. You know, he was like, he just seemed so positive and awesome. And I was like, man, I want to kick some ass, you know. And so, yeah, I started training more, getting in the gym. I was working out every single day. I started watching AEW religiously every single day. I was like, this is so cool. And I already wanted to be a part of it so bad ever since it started anyway. But yeah, it's just been a crazy journey. I never thought I'd be here. I never thought I would be in Wembley Stadium in the biggest crowd in wrestling history. I mean, it's just a dream come true, and I'm so thankful, and thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Congratulations, you earned it, champ.
Thank you.
It's 1 year in the making since you came.
And also, I want to get back to America. I'm going to start talking some crap, so. Not on you, on the people. Yeah.
Hi, Ray, over here. Guess get a bit of Norfolk love here.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Yeah, well, I've asked about your family because that was an incredible moment. Everyone watched it. We had loads of texts into the BBC and what have you, saying how much everyone was loving it. How good was that to have mum, dad, cousins, nephews, brothers?
Well, they were never given the opportunity in the past to be showcased ever. Like, they were never acknowledged, and I wasn't allowed to acknowledge them until the movie came out, and then it was kind of, I was allowed to. But the thing is that Tony, again, didn't even question it. He was just like, let's fucking go, yeah. Like, yeah, we can have your family. And they appreciated it so much, and my dad was so emotional. My dad's not a crier. He's a very rough around the edges kind of guy, you know, missing teeth because of all the fighting back in the day, you know how he is. But he was crying his eyes out in the ring. It was just such a special moment to be around my family, and yeah, they loved every single second of it. My nephew's in here still, I think. Is he not? Well, he wasn't here, yeah. Ricky Knight Jr. I don't know if you guys know him or not, but he's an incredible wrestler. He just wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. this weekend at Rev Pro. He's going to be the next big thing for sure. Hello.
Hi guys. Luca from Cultura Pop Italy, from Italy.
Hi, Italy. Yeah.
My question is for Tony and for Saraya. Mercedes Monet was shown several times during the review. Is this a tease maybe for a match in the future when we have a lot of history?
If I may, she's not cleared, Mercedes Monet. So I think it was great to have her here. She competed for New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I thought it would be excellent to have one of the top international stars in all of pro wrestling here. And the last time we saw Mercedes Monet compete, she was actually competing against our own Willow Nightingale. And there's a lot of exciting international pro wrestling. I thought it would be great to have her here to see all the matches, including the AEW Women's World Championship. But she's not cleared since her injuries. I just thought it would be good to have her take in the show. Definitely a lot of potential things could happen there, and I know New Japan Pro Wrestling's had great experiences working with her, and I thought it would be great, given that she's not cleared, but wanted to take in the biggest paid pro wrestling crowd of all time and see what AEW is all about. I thought it would be good for her to be here, but obviously she's not wrestling or cleared or doing anything anytime soon, but great to have the top international stars at a top international show, and of course for the world champion here, there's all kinds of people who want to take a shot at you.
That's right, bring it on. I saw her and I was like, okay, so she's going to be watching, great. We already have history, right? So I wanted to win the championship in front of her, honestly. Because I know if she ever was to ever come in, she's going to try and get this, right? So I say absolutely bring it on, and Mercedes, if you're watching this, we can't wait for you to finally join us, if you will.
Wow.
Right?
Very.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big challenge.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff Atkins, Sportaholic.com. We obviously saw you and Turkey Storm clash in the match tonight.
I'm very disappointed in her, yes.
And who got involved as well? Just wondering what is the immediate state of the outcast?
Right now, I think once I get back to America, I mean, we have to go straight to Chicago for Dynamite, but right now, she has upset me very much. And if she wants to get back in my good book, she literally has to apologize. She has to grovel at my feet. She has to kiss the ground that I walk on, because she just tried to break my neck in the ring. So, next question.
Jamal and I, the seconds out. How did it feel to be walking down that ramp, seeing all the phones, seeing everyone cheering your name, and then to lift the gold at the end of the match? All the emotions coming out, all the whole journey that's led you to that moment. What was that like?
Well, for some reason, I was like, they're gonna boo me, right? And I started because I've been, you know, a bit naughty back in America with my character with the outcasts and stuff, you know. So I was like, maybe they'll boo me and I can like lean into it, but I got a good reaction. So I'm like, well, I can't really do too much, you know, bad stuff. But it was really amazing, like, you don't understand that you're walking down the ramp and just seeing a sea of people, and it's just like it never ends either. You're like, oh my gosh. And the fact that it's Wembley Stadium again in my home country, it's really, really cool to see, because being in Wembley and everyone just assuming we weren't going to do even quarter of it, and then within a couple of days it was over 70,000. It just felt so good. And the fact that we, you know, got over 80, 81, 85.
Paid. There were 81 paid. There were like 90,000 people approximately in the building. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely bananas. So just like actually trying to take it in, and it's really difficult to take it in as well. You're just like, oh my gosh. It's the most amazing experience of my life, and it's definitely right there in the top of my favorite moments and favorite championship, 100%. I'm so excited.
It's amazing. And I have to say, it was an amazing night. Personally, knowing that you were going to be coming out to Queen, we will off you, and knowing that you were coming out with your entire family, I was pretty confident that you were not going to get booed tonight.
Yeah, I was like, I hope not. Jeez. Coming out to that, I feel like British people can't be disappointed if they hear Queen in the crowd, that's for sure.
It was a good one for sure. It was a great idea. It was a great idea. It was her idea.
Yeah, it was. I was like, can I get it? He was like, let's do it.
It was great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mark Scrum from Headlock in Germany. You've been talking about Rev Pro quite a bit. Ricky Jr. had defended his title there. We saw Chris Jericho yesterday attack with Oscar at the show. So they have a working relationship with New Japan. You know, is there any kind of official working relationship between AEW and Rev Pro, and how about the other major promotions in the UK and like Progress or WSW in Germany?
I really like Andy a lot, and I've attended Rev Pro, and I've worked with them, and I've tried to feature their clips in the shows. So I would say, yeah, we absolutely have a working relationship with Andy and Rev Pro. You know, we're both great partners to New Japan Pro Wrestling, I believe. I've attended a lot of Rev Pro even before there was an AEW. I consider Andy a friend, and I like to help out my friends in the wrestling business, and that means if somebody can make an appearance there and it's not going to affect our schedule or change anything detrimental for AEW, I love working with Rev Pro. And obviously for Saraya to have family there, for us to have so many people that are a part of AEW, or people to have a pipeline to AEW, I think it's a great thing. So I support Andy, and I've even, when I've had a chance, featured Rev Pro clips in AEW television just to show their company off and show some of our stars wrestling for them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to do stuff with Rev Pro, of course. I saw Sky Blue, actually. Got to be a part of the show yesterday, and she got a great reaction. People absolutely adore her, so I was a little jealous, honestly. I was like, I want to do Rev Pro too, but we were here. Unfortunately, I had to do some Wembley stuff, you know.
It worked out pretty well,
Yeah,
but that's definitely something to keep an eye on. We have a good relationship with them. It's a good company. I was glad that they had their record weekend as part of this huge weekend, the biggest weekend ever in wrestling, and I was glad to see other people getting the benefit of that. That's nice, and Rev Pro is a great company, absolutely.
Congratulations for both. I'm Ricardo Chan from Chile, South America. Saraya, do you remember that you wrestled in Chile a few years ago?
How long ago was it? I have terrible memory, I promise.
I think 7 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that was a while back. That's when I was a little bit of a loose cannon, you know. I'm not anymore, Tony, I promise.
Great.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I've been very fortunate enough to wrestle in a lot of places. So I'm sure Chile was absolutely amazing too.
Yes, we have a lot of.
We have to come back there.
Huh?
We have to come back there.
Yeah, Chile.
Right?
Yeah.
We have to.
That's my question for Tony. When we can say South America is all in?
It's a great question.
Your expansion is going to be in South America that have a lot of fans of wrestling.
That's great, but very good question. That's another great market I'd love to visit. You know, we're a company, it's incredible to say AEW Dynamite has not even been on the air for 4 years yet. The 4-year anniversary is coming up, it's over a month away. And it's coming up in October, 4 years of Dynamite. The company itself is not even 5 years old. And we've already hit some of the all-time highs. I think today is the highest high in all of pro wrestling. And also it's a really important milestone. In addition to being the record paid attendance in the history of the pro wrestling business, this is our first show ever in Europe. And it was a huge step for us. And we're gonna continue building. Last year we did 1 week of shows in Canada. We did 2 shows in Toronto. And we expanded it this year, took another step forward. This year we did a tour, and I plan to go back again soon, but we did a run in Canada of 8 shows across 6 cities. And I thought that was a huge step for us from what we did last year, and we'll keep building and building. So that was our first international tour. Today was our first international stadium event, our first show in Europe, and talk about a great way to debut in not just a new market, but one of the most important markets. And I think that's a great market, Chile. That'd be a great place to go. I've been asked when AEW is going to visit other potential Latin American countries and markets, such as Mexico and Puerto Rico. I think Chile would be a great market. We have great stars, and clearly you've been there before and made a huge impression.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's great.
I remember.
Hi guys, Tom Close for SE Scoops. First of all, Saraya, congratulations on your title win.
Yeah, let's go lads. Yeah.
Your story is so well documented, your highs, your lows. Obviously you got started when you were 13, I believe. Mm-hmm. What kind of advice, as the AEW Women's World Champion, would you give to the 13-year-old who was wrestling a King Power Ranger in her first match? And what advice do you think that person...
You want to be able to stay humble enough for people to want to continue to work with you and, you know, get good jobs and have, like, end up with a great boss, you know. But also stay hungry. You don't want to ever get complacent, and that's something that I never stopped doing. So even when I lost my wrestling career completely, I never in my head thought it was never going to happen again. I constantly was striving to try and get back in the ring, whether it was going to take 5 years, which was great, or 10 or 20 or however many years. When you see me 50 years old and get back in the ring, I was always trying to like get back in there. So yeah, I say patient, stay humble, hungry, and save your money. That's important. Save your money.
Hi, Saraya, Mark O'Brien from BoysFan.net.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned your cousin Ricky yesterday in 2 matches he had in Progress and Red Pro.
Yeah.
You also mentioned your brother Zach,
Yeah.
the year he's had.
Yeah.
Any update on him possibly moving stateside or appearing in AEW programming this coming year?
Well, I think it was something we've definitely talked about that potentially, and I think Saraya's family, I'd love to have them involved. They were obviously involved in the show tonight, and she's part of a great wrestling family. It was great to get her family involved in the show. So whether it's here in England or America or anywhere, your family's always welcome, and that's it's a good thought.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I just noticed that Zach's gonna be coming over in a couple of months, so hopefully we can bring him to a couple of shows and see where it goes. Who knows? But we're happy for him.
I think it's a very great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Few more for Saraya.
Go on, John.
Congratulations on your win. Seamus Dunn, Bullseye, Ian Ireland. So my question is short. Are we getting a sequel with Fighting With My Family? We need a sequel.
Yeah, so there could be something in the future. We'll see. But I will say right now that I am writing a book, and this today was the button on my story. And Tony had no idea about this, but I walked up to him in the go position, and I was just like, you have no idea what you just done for me, because I've been through a lot, obviously, and it's been, again, very well documented, and it's been highs and lows and everything like that. But I needed something really special, and I wasn't going to let the book go out until something really special happened. And so he just completed my book for me, and it was just...
You completed your book. You did.
I did,
you
but
did the work.
you...
You're the one
I
who did
appreciate
it.
it. Thank you. But yes.
final question.
Steve Herbert from the BBC. I have to admit, I was going to ask that exact same question.
Oh, yeah.
Sequels, so it's a great idea, and the book as well. To Tony, I just wondered, you've obviously announced All In for next year already. Will you be scheduling All Out so close to that next year? And how much of a booking headache has it been for you doing both of these shows?
I mean, I love wrestling. I think it's a very interesting situation. By the way, I want to make sure you get a good, since he took your question for Saraya, I'll answer your question, plus we'll get a good Saraya question too, if that's okay.
Yeah, think about it.
Great. So somebody out there can think of a really good Saraya question on the way out. This is ridiculous. So much of the case study or why I try to do things is like avoiding some of the other things I've seen other wrestling companies do that, you know, probably didn't help them. I try to look at things that have helped wrestling companies where we should do that and things that haven't. And while we haven't always done things perfectly, I do think I've tried to study history and learn from it. And when you build a great tradition, when you build customer loyalty, and when you put on a great event like this, I really strong belief that this would be a great show tonight. I think it's been the best show we've ever done. I think it was the greatest night in the history of the company. It was not only the most successful business night in AEW by far, and I think the most successful business night anyone's ever had in pro wrestling industry. I think it was our best show. And I feel really strong that we should come back and reward the market with loyalty instead of like doing shows. Some of our shows do move around and obviously we hit different markets, but I tried to build traditions. And we have something really special that we did tonight, and that's why this same bank holiday weekend, I want people to know, bank holiday weekend, Sunday, Wembley, that's a tradition. In America, a 3-day weekend, Labor Day weekend, they have the bank holiday in America next weekend. It's a very unique opportunity as a live event. I don't want to give up that real estate. Now that we've built this here, I don't want to give it up and I want to keep it going, and I believe we can do it again. And we've had a great tradition of live events in Chicago over Labor Day weekend, and I want to keep that going forever too. And they're both really important dates on the calendar. It creates a unique opportunity to capture buzz around AEW. Well, this is the first time we've done it, but it is something I plan to do in the future. So next year, All In will be on the bank holiday weekend, August 25th, 2024. And yes, I am planning to run in Chicago Labor Day weekend. Next year, I don't have all the specifics yet, but I do want to stay around Chicago for Labor Day, and now I want to come here for the bank holiday because I think these are great traditions, and just like All In can be something special we can do right here. Hopefully it'll stay at Wembley Stadium for a very long time because I love it here and it's one of my favorite places in the world. I still can't believe we got to do that in the Royal Box, Carmelo. That was crazy. You know, we've done All Out at the Now Arena, where we're going to have Dynamite this week, the home of the original All In. And this year we'll have All Out at the United Center, which has been a great venue for us since we started doing it. I'm very excited about going there, and we're going to have one of our biggest gates in the history of the company next week. Obviously tonight has been by far the biggest gate in the history of the company, but there's nothing wrong with $1 million live house in pro wrestling, and that's what we're looking at next week. So I want to keep that going because that's a pretty special thing too. We're going to have over 10,000 people and at $1 million gate next week too, so that's great. And I think we have a great tradition as a live event. Even if I didn't sell a single pay-per-view next week as a live event, we'll make money on next week's event, and I expect we're going to sell a lot of pay-per-views with great matches like Omega versus Takeshita that I've just confirmed, and the winner of Wednesday's Penta El Zero Miedo versus Orange Cassidy match challenging Jon Moxley to defend the AEW International Championship. I think either one of those is a great match. They both have a very legitimate reason to be pissed off and want to fight Mox. And I think either one would be a great match. They're two of the greatest champions in AEW history. Orange Cassidy as the AEW All-Atlantic Champion who leveled up to become the International Champion, and Penta El Zero Miedo to hold the World Tag Team Championship, to hold the World Trios Championship. Could this Wednesday become the first person to achieve that milestone of holding those and the International Championship? As you know, we've had Orange Cassidy, who's been the international champion. We've had Pac, who's been the double champ with the international title and the trios title. But Penta El Zero Miedo has a chance to achieve something very special this week, and I know he wants a piece of Mox in a major way, as does Orange. I think it's going to be a great show. And we've announced other big matches on the card I'm really looking forward to, including Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs, Darby Allin taking on the TNT champion Luchasaurus, contrary to popular opinion. Christian Cage is not actually the TNT champion. So it's going to be a great event. I'm very excited about All Out, but I'm also very excited about what we built here with All In. And I think, yeah, my plan is to keep doing both events for the long term, keep what we have here in England. We built something very special. I think we've had fans from all over Europe. We've had fans from over 70 countries at today's show. I don't know if any of you knew that, but over 70 countries, and people from all over the world have come to the show, and here in England from all over England, including a lot of people from Norwich here to support Saraya, and people from all over. So I think it's a really cool thing we built here, but I do want to keep this, and I want to keep what we've done in Chicago. And hopefully that gave somebody time to think of a really good final question for Saraya.
Mine's our first question to Saraya. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you've only had 4 singles matches since coming into AEW. So is that something that you'd be looking to do more of now that you've got the World Championship? And how has it been getting the rust off since coming back?
Yeah, so people said to me, oh, Saraya, it's like riding a bike. It's not. It's absolutely not. When I came back the first time, where it was only a year and a half, it felt like it was like riding a bike. But it was the 5 long years of not doing anything in the wrestling industry at all. 5 long years. I was extremely rusty, and the girls were very patient with me. The company was very patient with me. And, you know, I was very emotional the first couple of weeks, and I just felt like I wasn't doing anything right. And I couldn't look at social media because they were cruel, you know, because social media can be very cruel. But then I realized social media is always cruel. But, yeah, it's just been, I've like lost my train of thought already. I'm so sorry. But, yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I can't remember where I was going with it because I'm like ADHD, so I'm like, but what was the question again?
Our singles matches.
Singles match, there we go. Yes, I would love to do more singles matches, absolutely. I'm the champ now, of course, I kind of have to. But I would love to, and the reason why, you know, it didn't really make sense for me to be doing singles at one point in time, because you had Ruby doing the Owen Hart trophy, you know, and then you had Tony being the champ, and so she was doing her singles matches, and I kind of liked being the barricade princess. I thought it suited me very well. Being the screaming banshee on the side of the ring. I enjoyed that, but now he's like, no, now you have to work. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have to.
I also wanted to, you know, you came off a very long-term injury, and I think it makes sense sometimes in tag trio situations where, you know, let's see how this goes, and your partners, if you have a problem, your partners can pick up and help you make it through. And now we've seen, I think you're back.
I'm 100%. I feel 100% ready to go. My confidence is fully back, where with my attitude, my character, and again, I'm having so much fun with it that, I mean, I feel like I can go in there and do whatever. Sometimes it's the girls that have to hold me back because I want to do 100 million things, and they're just like, we'll take it easy, you know, and I'm ready. I'm 100% ready. The doctor said I was 100%. My neck is at 100%. I asked them, when I went there for my neck, is there any way that I could be paralyzed in any way, shape, or form? And he said, no, your neck is perfectly fine. And if you have aches and pains, that's normal when you're a wrestler. But I can take a step aside, and AEW is really great with their talent. If they are sore or banged up, they're like, take it off and, you know, bring it back next week or something. So it's really cool to have the support of AEW and Tony, you know, and the support of the women in the locker room, because every single one of them is so amazing. And that's one of the best locker rooms I've ever been in my life. And every time I'm there, every week, it's always very, very supportive, and everyone's genuinely happy for each other. For whatever we do, we're very happy for each other. But yes, I'm ready. Long-winded, but I'm ready for more singles matches.
That's great. Well, I want to congratulate you again, and I want to thank you again, because this was a really special night, and a huge part of what made it such a special night is your performance, how hard you fought, that you had your family here, that you had the brilliant idea to ask me to ask for who will rock you, and everything you did to make this possible. Thank you, Saraya, for tonight.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you guys as well for coming along. I'm probably going to be more mean to you once I get back to America, though. I'm just in my good side because I'm in England right now. But thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. We have about 20 minutes or so.